Hi, my name is Beth Diedrich. I am currently an itinerant intervention specialist with Lorraine City Schools, which is a larger urban district in Northern Ohio. I've also have experience with creative curriculum in my role as the director of our program and as a classroom teacher.
Wonderful. Well, thanks for meeting with me today. And really, I just want to ask you some questions about your experience and your use of the creative curriculum. So the first thing is, how is it organized?
So creative curriculum definitely relies on themes. There's like a core curriculum that we originally purchased that had a finite number. And then we were invited to use our students' interests to kind of develop our own based on the structure that creative curriculum provides.
Terrific. So, um, how would you use that? Some people criticize the creative curriculum's inability to allow children to take a deep dive into questions that interest them, but it sounds like this is something that you did with the creative curriculum.
Certainly. So I think the struggle is that it does take a certain amount of experience or support maybe from an administrator or from a supervisor to be able to do that. But it is doable. You can extend, the time that you spend on one topic, or you can, transition away from a topic because it seems like something that the students are not interested in at the time. Or if you're, on your fall hike and they start talking about something that they've observed and it's all they want to talk about during their free play time and during their center time, then you can, take that and run with it. And then maybe next week that would be something that you would begin to dive
I
into.
think what you're saying is so valuable in terms of being able to pause, to listen to children's questions, being able to supplement, bring things in from the outside. So even though it is something that is very structured, you still had the ability to say, the kids weren't interested in this reading, so we took them to the library and they found some things that they were really interested in, and we put that in. So your hands weren't tied when it came to following this, even though you were, it sounded like you were doing quite a bit of following it.
Right. So it's like a framework. And I think kind of like I alluded to earlier, it's like you almost need to be a skilled teacher or at least have the confidence in yourself that, I can take this and run with it and I don't need a scripted type of curriculum. Or, I don't need a script in order to do this. I can do this based on this framework.
Now, I assume this also has to do with the questions, that the creative curriculum has a lot of questions that you will ask children at group time. But those are suggestions, right? Those aren't the scripts that you have to follow.
Exactly. And again, I think a lot of teachers are comfortable with more scripted um, materials and lessons, and that's fine. No shame, no blame, no judgment. But I think for someone who has, support or collegiate support, even through like weekly teacher team meetings where they can kind of pick the brains of their colleagues, or support of maybe a coach, or or an administrator, some sort of director that would be able to kind of help them along through that process so that they do feel confident and competent that they can do this.
Terrific. Did you use the assessment portion of the creative curriculum?
On and off. So since we've adopted it, we have, and then we haven't.
So
Um,
what would be an assessment that you would find in the curriculum that you might or might not use?
well, I mean, it's closely related to Teaching Strategies Gold.
And when we're talking about teaching strategies gold, for students who haven't been familiar with this, we're talking about a lot of meeting developmental targets, and a lot of it is also done through picture taking and through scanning of work. And so it's really done in a portfolio type of format, done primarily with observations. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Frankly, as most, if not all, assessments should be in preschool with very young children. I mean, direct assessment is not going to give you an accurate picture. Um, you know, there are so many children that we've encountered in, well, I can think of in my career in 26 years in the field that, you can pull them to your table and ask them a million questions and you would think they don't know anything, but you observe them in play. You ask the families some of these things. Have you seen this? Does your child do this? Are they able to do this? And then you'll get a whole different picture of that child.
A lot of the push these days seems to be away from play and towards academics. And a lot of times when people are looking at this curriculum, they focused primarily on the academic parts. Do you feel this is balanced? And how would a teacher balance this in their classroom so that they would be sticking with a developmentally appropriate approach and play-based approach?
I think it's about like providing the centers and then not providing too many rules around the centers. So, again, for the balls area, our block area would be transformed into an area that had many different ramps, balls, wheels, those kind of things. And it was more like a play invitation. And to me, that kind of setup is more developmentally appropriate, but also allows for extended play. It's truly child-led play. Again, there is no objective, no outcome necessarily that is expected when a child goes over there. It's not you have to stay there for a certain amount of time. It's not you're expected to accomplish this while you're there. It's about teachers just kind of being present and observing in order to provide supportive feedback or scaffolding or even taking advantage of some little teachable moments during play to help children to understand the concepts that are intended to be developed throughout that theme or unit.
Terrific. Do you have any final thoughts when it comes to this curriculum, using it within your classrooms?
So again, I think creative curriculum has a lot of potential. I think there are several things that can be scary and maybe turn off educators or feel like roadblocks or deterrents to educators. I think it can be amazing, adaptable, developmentally appropriate, play-based, and with flexibility with assessment.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your reflections on this curriculum, and it's wonderful you had a chance to stop by our fireside chat.
So happy to be here with you.